What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Pincade. Today we're going to be going over. I've pretty much sorted out uh, problems that I was having with getting a really good version of Mame running. Um, I had spoken about in other episodes and everything, and I think I kind of finally stumbled upon something that might be worthwhile taking a look at. I've been testing with it a couple days now, and things are kind of like going the direction that I wanted it to go. So I figured, it's been a while since I made a video. I was on vacation for 1 week. I came back and trying to get back situated with everything. I haven't really been motivated to really do much of anything, to be honest with you. And I kind of went back full swing into a lot of related work and personal things to take care of. So I haven't really been doing much with pinball lately. And I just started kind of getting this stuff working, like I said the other day. So, I'm not going to go over how to set up Mame. I have another video for that. Go see that video on how to install that stuff. To be honest with you, Mame is very easy to set up anyway. But whatever. Let's just take a look at it really quick. Yeah, you go to mame.net. You go to download for Windows because I'm using Windows. I'm not going to support Linux and any type of Unix variant or Mac OS just because, or Raspberry Pis or any of the other crazy shit you could think of. I'm only going to support the Windows version because that's what I'm working on. Um, and personally, I just don't recommend doing it on those operating systems just because it's very complicated to get those things to work correctly. Now, that doesn't mean that you can't get it to work correctly. I'm just saying that, I don't want to I personally don't want to invest the time. I've invested enough time with Windows, and Windows is the more supported platform as far as answering questions and figuring things out. But anyway, um, on Meme, you really don't want to take the latest release. You really want to take the release that you can get a full ROM set for. And the reason why I say that is that a full ROM set for MAME means that you've got every single MAME ROM for that version of MAME, which means not only do you have every video game, you have every single pinball machine that's supported by that MAME version. You're getting every single multi-K touchscreen type thing. You're getting every single slot machine, mahjong machine, etc., etc. Right? You're going to get an overwhelming amount of ROMs, but you're also going to get all of the BIOS files that are needed. You're also going to get any type of special sound files that are needed for hardware emulation and any other miscellaneous file that can, and I'm speaking from experience here, can drive your life nuts trying to get MAME to work one ROM file at a time. I recently tried doing this before I left. I was trying to avoid using a giant ROM set, and what I found was I spent hours troubleshooting, you know, why weren't all these Midway games working? Oh, because I was missing this zip file that was a sound driver for Midway sound hardware emulation. And why couldn't I get these Namco games to work? Because I was missing this other driver for something else. And it just became a cat and mouse game of me trying to search giant forums all over the place and find what little tiny missing file that I was missing. So I went back to using the giant ROM set. So you don't want to download what's the latest and greatest. Like I know that's usually the preferred method of doing things. In MAME, that is definitely not the method you want to do. Rather, you want to go to a place like EMU Paradise or something that has full ROM sets. So if you go to emuparadise.me and you click ROM ISOs and games over here on the left, um, and then if on the right you look at MAME ROMs. Sorry, I missed a step here. Go back one. So I'm back in the just ROM ISOs and games. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you'll see complete ROM sets. This is where I meant to go originally. Um, and then you'll select MAME out of this list or just click the M here. And then here's all the Mame, complete ROM sets, and updates mean that only files that were incrementally updated from .138 ROM set to .139 is in this. Then you add this one and you add this one, and that's how you work your way up to incremental updates. However, if you scroll through, you'll find other versions. I'm using 161. That I'm pretty certain that's what I'm using here. And then all the CHID files are here. CHID files are compact hard disks, or there's a couple acronyms. I think the one I use is compact hard disks. Basically, they're basically like hard drives that are inside of arcade cabinets. Usually, you find like higher end games use these like the Need for Speed type racing games, or Rush racing game, whatever. Those higher end graphic ones. Some of the Mortal Kombat's, a lot of the Street Fighters. One the Gauntlet, the newer Gauntlets use it, etc., etc. You'll if you watch one of my other videos, I think I go over dealing with CHIDs. We're not going to go over CHIDs in this video though. So you're going to download this, and if you click this, you'll eventually see a link somewhere. There you go. Download 1.61 ROMs. Hopefully this video doesn't get banned for the damn videos that are there. You're going to enter this captcha thing, and then it's going to show you a link. What's it called? There is a link for using a torrent. I would recommend using the torrent and not trying to download through a TCP browser connection. At least torrent has a recovery option, especially since the fact that this is probably going to run for hours before you get it. And I'm not going to download it. It was in this file here. But I've recently dumped it into my actual Mame directory. So inside here's your Mame install, right, which is nothing more than unzipping the version, and then you'll have a ROM folder. And you just dump everything that's in there. Don't unzip it, just dump it in there. There's like, I don't even know how many files in here, but 29,879 files are in this. This is from the ROM. Plus, I have some CHIDs that I got for Street Fighter and stuff like that. We're not, like I said, I'm not going to go over those. So I got a couple more, but mainly you're looking at like 20,000 something files. Right. So that'll work with Mame version 161, right? Because now what you're going to do is you're not going to download 166, right? Because that ROM set was for 161. So you're going to look for the older versions, previous releases, right? We're on the Mame site again. We're clicking downloads. We're going to previous releases. And we're going to look for version 161. Here it is right here. And you're going to, well, you don't want the source. You want the binary exe version. You want Mame. You don't want, I don't use mess. I'm using Mame straight up. So you click this exe, it'll run. It'll just dump a folder. You move that folder wherever you want. It's not a complicated setup. That's pretty much, as much as it gets there. So the next thing is that I installed Mala, which is a front end similar to Pinball X. And the reason why I'm not using Pinball X for this is because you could see the sheer amount of files there. I'm not going to try and figure out how to make an XML file for Pinball X, or import an XML Mame list file, or any of that stuff. I need something that has some kind of tool sets to work with all these files to try and start getting this listing down. So I just downloaded the top one here, not the beta version. I downloaded I don't know what I downloaded actually. I know it wasn't this one that's marked beta. Okay, right here, 1.74. Usually they put the beta at the top and then the released recommended version underneath, but I guess this is backwards anyway. So I'm running 174, and all I did with that, I couldn't remember not to close this. All I did with that was just dump it in my programs file directory. You could put it inside your main folder, whatever you want to do. And then you got these two folders, and then this Mala 174 is the actual directory where the stuff is. So very quickly, we've gone through putting Mame in, how to figure out which version of Mame to install, making sure that you have a complete working ROM set for that version, dumping those ROMs into the ROM folder. At that point, it's recommended that you probably test it. Like if you run Mame exe and just type a game name, let's say Tapper, and you know you can go up and down to select one, and then here I'm hitting Tapper and hitting OK or whatever, and I'm seeing if one of them loads. All right, and there it goes. It loaded. Now, I apologize for my screen being all out of whack. I'm using a vertical screen from the pinball machine, so I still have to fix the orientation of a lot of this stuff. And for you guys, it's always going to come up sideways, and that's because I'm viewing it at a different angle. Wow, I kind of had like a brain fart there. So, which angle do I need? I need this one. 90-degree angle. Alright, so that's sideways for you. For me, it's up and down. So anyway, I'm just hitting escape. That lets me know that that's a quick test. You know, just try and load a couple ROMs. You know, if you load one and the game starts like that, you may get a message to do like OK, and you may get a message that maybe the ROM doesn't fully work or the sound doesn't work. That's fine. Just as long as it loads the game and it's working and it's seeing all the ROMs, you're good. All right. So the next thing is Mala. All right. If you click Mala exe, you'll get not this front end layout that you're going to see. You're not going to get this blue one like this. It's not going to be sideways like that. This is a lot of stuff that I've already been working on, and we're going to kind of get to that, but it will scan your entire directory. If you see this right here, it says all games, and it says, you know, 14,538 games are still listed in my list. Originally, when I started, it was in the 20-something thousand range, so I got rid of quite a bit of stuff. And when I say get rid of it, I don't mean that I deleted anything. The full ROM set is still intact. It's just the XML list has been shortened for the entries, right? But I still have every single file. Just in case something goes wrong, it still keeps the files, which is good. Unless you're running short on space, then maybe you might want to take your XML file when you're done and then go through your ROM sets and figure out which ones is what and delete them. However, I would recommend that you be careful and not delete any BIOS files or sound files or any type of emulation files, because there are mixed in there with random, I don't want to say random names, but they're ambiguous names. They're not really easy to tell that that's a BIOS file sometimes, or that that's a Midway sound driver file. As you can see, I think I have a couple here. Yeah, Q sound. I mean, yeah, okay, it says Q sound, but there's other ones that are a little bit more obscure. And also, Q sound tells you nothing of what sound it's for, right? Is it Midway? Is it Namco? Is it Neo Geo? What system is this one emulating? So just be careful when you're deleting files out of the ROM set. So back to the Mala directory. You'll see the exe here. That's the actual application itself. But you will also see in here is a Mala layout exe. This is great because when you click this, if you download layouts, now this is the way it usually looks when you first load it. You get like this kind of like asteroids layout type thing. I downloaded another one called Mame, and the .mml I think stands for Mala layout or something like that. And then here is the actual layout, and I just changed the orientation here, and I could change I could change a lot of things for this to customize it to exactly the way I want it to look, you know. Um, there was something for size. Oh, here's the sizing. I could change the sizing and everything else like that. I could change what these titles say. I could change the fonts. I could do a lot of things to this stuff. Eventually, there will be marquee here when you click a game, and also here it will show you like a short clip video of the game playing, just so that if you don't know what that game is, you'll get like a little quick sample of it. And pretty much all this is really just a background image, and then you're throwing like a bunch of text boxes and stuff on it, and programming or mapping them to do a display of whatever it is that you want. And it seems fairly straightforward. It does not seem like it's a very complicated process. This layout that I downloaded originally did not look right on my giant playfield, and I was able to unlock it from its fixed size and reset it to my resolution, and everything came out good looking. And then I just do a save and then save the file. Okay, and I was able to get a background that looks pretty decent. It's not as good as maybe like Hyperspin or what's the other one? I just had on the tip of my tongue. I forgot the name of it. There's another one that's Maximus Arcade or whatever it is. Those guys have maybe like better or cooler looking layouts and stuff like that. Um, However, their front ends are harder to work with sometimes when it comes to trying to deal with your listing. What I find is a lot of people will make a custom list with those things, and that's the only thing they use. I'm trying to do something a little bit different, and this is why I'm going to get to why I'm using Mala. I don't really know what Mala Tree does, but I do see a lot of people talking about um, why they use it and stuff. So I haven't read up on that yet. But now, if you want to change the layout, right, you could download layouts from their website. Okay, that was interesting. I wasn't expecting some weird guy uh, to come up anyway. If you go here, you'll see layouts here, and if you notice this very not um, eye-catching listing here, that it will show you like the layouts and what you can download and what they kind of look like, and what formats they support and what orientation they're designed for. But however, like I said, you can still download if this thing doesn't match exactly for what you're looking to do. You could still download it and potentially edit it with that other thing and make the layout work for you, like how I did. So when you download these, I'm just going to download this one really quick and just show you what's in the file. Um, and they're very small. So what you get is, hopefully this one's right. Okay, I don't know why there's extra files out here. Let me see what's in here. Yeah, maybe they have multiple files for the same thing or whatever. But usually what you see is an MLL formatted file. This is obviously a font that they're probably using, so you might want to install that into your font directory so that you have it. These other files, I don't really know what they are. They look like optional images. But this MLL file stands for Mala Layout. And then this folder is all of the images associated with that layout. So all you pretty much do is dump this folder into this directory, the Mala directory, and then this MLL, just dump it into the same Mala directory. So the MLL file, like if you look, here's my Mame one, right? I don't know why is it ML. Okay, Mame LLL, right? And then I have a directory called Mame, which is, if you see, right, it's just nothing more than images, like I was saying. all those boxes, and this is the vertical image, this is the horizontal image, um, this is something else that they used, and this is the animation for the guys moving across. So it's fairly easy. And then when you load up the front end, all you do is pretty much go into the options and tell it use this layout, and it's done. Um, Very simple, right? So we pretty much covered a couple of things in Mala here. Oh, another thing I want to talk about is the custom list, the Mala game list.exe. Now what this does is this allows you to make all kinds of new lists, or edit your lists. Um, so immediately off the bat, it already has a listing of every ROM that it found in your directory. You could make a new list by typing in a name here. This is the title, right? And then you can find the games that you want and just arrow them over, right? It does not really support, text searching, but it'll take like whatever first letter that you're looking for. So if I'm looking for something with the name Super, I just hit S. It'll take a second, and then it'll put me in the S section. It does not allow you to do SUPER and kind of jump to that. That's the only thing that sucks with it. Um, Maybe there's another search mechanism that I haven't found, but I haven't looked at this too much. I've just been using it very briefly. But it's kind of interesting that I could have it remove all these types of different brackets and replace the name, so you could get a clearer list. Um, so there's some more advanced features in there, but anyway. And then all you gotta do is do save as, and then name this list, right? I have a list called sports, which is some sports games. Most played games is something that they put in there. I made this one today, classics and all games. And then if you want to edit one that exists, all you gotta do is just do open. I'm not gonna save file changes to this test one, right? Let's open up my classics one, and here's a pretty good list of games that I pulled out, and these are pretty much to me like all my classic old school games that I used to play in the 80s. Um, there's some that I left out just because of uh, right now not being able to play them properly because of my setup. Eventually, the end goal is to buy an older cabinet that's in pretty decent shape that maybe has been gutted or whatever, and then maybe clean it up, fix anything that's wrong with it, do the control board, put a PC inside of it, and then the control panel and stuff like that. But for now, I'm just trying to get all the software end worked out because the hardware end is much easier, in my opinion, than doing the software stuff. Software stuff takes more time. So anyway, here's my list. I can edit it. I could change these names. I could delete something from the list. I can edit that name to something else. It tells you, it could have you change the ROM. So let's say you put an entry in here and this ROM doesn't work well, but you know what the right ROM name number is or whatever. You can change this here. There's multiple different things you could do to this, right? Not going to mess with that anymore. That game list I'm trying to get through. Um, so we talked about getting Mala installed, how to get custom layouts, how to adjust custom layouts, um, how to make custom game lists. So let's go back into Mala itself and look at how do you change some of the settings. Now, when you first run this, it's not going to open up like this, and it's sure as hell not going to be running this layout that I'm running. It will ask you to configure it off the bat, but after you've configured it, if you right click with your mouse, you'll get this pop-up box, and you could change. This is how you change the orientation. Um, how do you reconfigure things? Um, you could remove a single game from your list. Like for example, I'm selecting Super Soccer. Nintendo, let's say that was some shitty ROM for some bar crest type thing or something that I can't play and emulate, then I could just remove. I could just click this and remove it from the list. Um, you could change emulators, etc., etc. For now, let's go into the options. So this is what yours will probably look like when you first load it, except for all this stuff. And you'll click this, like I titled this, actually I didn't even title this. When I clicked this dot dot button for the Mame executable and pointed it to it, it actually figured out what version it was and put this title here. I'm probably gonna just shorten this title out to just Mame. It doesn't. I don't really need to know what version and everything else it is. Uh, and then I clicked this and I pointed it to my ROMs. Sorry, this file this file it created on its own after I told it where my ROMs was. It read the ROM directory and created this Mame XML file. This stuff wasn't hard to set up. I know I'm kind of like tripping through it because I'm trying to remember how I set it up the other day, and I'm quite tired right now. So um, I don't think I really did much else anywhere else yet. I know I did the GUI section. So if you click this GUI tab, this is where you can change your layouts. If you see your layouts coming up in this list and they're installed correctly, if you do not see them come up in this list, you have a problem. And you did not install the layout correctly, or there's something wrong with the layout. It's not hard to get. You don't have to do like these imports and everything else like that. As long as the stuff is in the right spot and it's the right file formats, it'll automatically show up in this list. Um, and you could just change them just by clicking them and clicking OK. And that's pretty much that. Uh, Now you could have it start things and everything else like that. I'm not going to get into this complicated setup yet because I haven't really found the need to run any of that kind of complicated stuff. Um, Sorry, let me go back to options. There is something here. This button right here, it's on basics of Mame config, right? It says game collection options. I didn't tell it to collect only certain things. I wanted it to read the entire directory and get everything. And then I went down here, and as I went through my list, I started finding things that I didn't want, things that I can tell just by looking at the name and like the 100 ROM files that matched it right underneath it, um, that they were unwanted ROMs, Bellcrest, touchscreen related bar type stuff, slot machines, mahjong stuff, BIOS related files. And sometimes if I was uncertain, I would click one and see what happened and etc. etc. What I ended up doing was finding a part of that name that I could tell was not used maybe in another game or something, or writing it a certain way so that I know it's not gonna, like, I didn't want to have space take out Space Invaders, right? So the name had a dot in it, so I was like, okay, cool, I could do the two brackets with the dot that was in the name and be good and not take out any type of Space Invaders or anything else with the word space in it. Barcrest, kind of the same thing. I've never seen a game with the name Barcrest in it. Bellfruit, right? And you just separate these with commas. One recommendation is that you try and find a lot of these strings that you want to use to filter out um, before you enter one at a time. Because what this does is every time you enter something here, it rescans the entire list of the ROMs, and it'll shorten this number here, like this 14538 number, depending if you've hit entries with it. But it still has to look at every single ROM, go through them all, and then regenerate a list, rewrite a list. So it's better off if you put in multiple things that you want to alter out of your list. And like I said, it's still keeping the ROMs there. It's just taking them out of your list. Um, So it'll scan, and it won't take like forever. It's not like you put in something that you want to filter out, and then you come back like 2 days later. It's more like a minute or two later. But when you're doing, I don't know if you saw how many entries I had in there. When you're doing them like one or two at a time, it really does slow down the process. You're better off just page downing, looking at your entire list and writing out like your list with a pen and paper, and then putting them all in once and trying to get a large portion of them done. So, how do you get to your special list, right? Because this is every single game I have. This is my somewhat filtered list of everything that's in my machine, right? See, like this guy right here, Superbar X. Well, you know what? Let's do one really quick. Superbar X Electro Coin. I can pretty much safely say, and I'm gonna go through number 9 right there, and I'm gonna try and load it, right? Just type OK. This right here, this screen right here, pretty much tells me that I know that this is probably gonna be some fucking stupid slot machine thing. All right, so if I do OK and I hit it again, now there it goes. Fruit, fruit, fruit. Those are the reels. There's a fucking DMD thing. So let me get my pen and pad right here. Bear with me for a second because I want to write this down the right way. Because we're gonna alter this listing right now. I can't find a fucking pen that I was using the other day. Alright, there it is. Okay, so I don't want to write this giant thing, right? You don't want to really write Superbar X Electric Coin set number 8, 9, 10, 15. So what I'm probably going to do is I'm probably just going to do parenthesis Electro Coin and parenthesis, and this one underneath it is another Superbar X. Right now I could do Superbar X and probably get rid of every one of these, but I don't want to do that. I want to make sure, because I don't know if I have any other games. The whole point of this nitpicking filtering thing for me is I have the ability to play a lot of games I've never heard of, right? And I don't want to accidentally filter out, cool games that I might stumble upon and be like, wow, that's a really cool game I've never seen in my life. I have no idea anything about this game, but now I have it, right? But if you start going crazy with the filtering, you might end up potentially wiping out those things from your list and putting them into a black hole void where you'll never find them. So anyway, I got MAB PCB, and I got this Electro Coin one. And let's see if there's any more here. Oh, here's another one. Superbars PCP. And this is exactly the process that I'm talking about. All right, so I got another one, PCP, which really doesn't sound good. I'm going to assume that this is probably another one of these fucking things too. Yeah, another slot machine. All right, so what is that one? MPU4 question mark. Now I got to be careful that I'm not even going to put that question mark in, because I'm a little afraid of that question mark, because I don't know if this thing is using wildcards, if it accepts wildcards. I've never tested with it. And a question mark and a wildcard means any character after that. Which, you know what? It's fine. I'll put it in. Question mark, parenthesis. Because now I'm thinking about it, in a Linux, Unix environment, a question mark right there means any number or any character right here, and then a parenthesis. So I don't think I'm going to hit too many things that, if it does even read it as a wildcard, I don't think I'm going to hit too many things that are going to filter out like that. Alright, so I'm just looking to see if I could get a couple more out. That's breakout. See, you don't want to go too crazy, because I saw Canyon and whatever, and then I realized that it said Super Breakout, so that's an actual game. I know that game. Super Cache X. This is probably one as well. So now, since there's only one of these, right? Oh, sorry, didn't know there's more. I was gonna say if there was only one like that. So concept is another thing. I was gonna say if there was only one like that, you could just right click and go into that option, say remove from list. But anyway, we got quite a bit right here, and I'm gonna write down this number, right? So you can see the filtering here. So we're at total 14,538 ROM files are left in my list, not in my directory, just in my list. All right, just keep emphasizing that because I don't want anybody thinking that I'm deleting shit. All right, so I'm going back to this game options things. I'm just gonna go to the front and start typing these things in. I'm gonna try and do this quickly as possible. Hopefully, I don't fat finger something. It'd be good if I wrote clearer too, because now I'm forgetting what I wrote here. Concept. Okay, so that was all of them. And I made sure I put a comma in between every single one of these. And you don't need these parentheses. The parenthesis, I'm using it just because it was part of the name, and it makes it a little bit more unique to those particular files, so I don't accidentally take something else out of my list. So here we go. We're gonna hit OK. We're gonna hit OK. You changed your filtering. Refresh main game list. Yes. Now you're gonna see an error message pop up about a controller INI file missing. I haven't figured that out or fixed it or even tried starting to work with it, but I know my joystick controller doesn't work with the front end just yet. So I'm using a keyboard just to select games and stuff like that. And then when I'm in Mame, I actually use my controller. Just going to take a quick sip of drink while this is doing this. Yeah, there it is. No controls.ini file set. Don't worry about that. I just need to set this file and figure out what exactly I need to do with that file. I haven't figured that out yet. Okay, so I just sorted a number. It was like 13,949, I think it said. We'll see in a second once it's done. It's just saving the XML file right now. Yeah, 13,949. So it's 5. So that's like 540 something files got deleted. If my math is right, I'm really bad at simple math, as scary as that is. Yeah, it deleted like plus or minus 550 files or whatever, right? I mean, sorry, entries out of the XML. So now, if I were to go back down to those, I think it was super bar. So if I go down to S and I go to super, and see, there's still probably more in there. These things are just all over the friggin' place. Yeah, we could thank these old ladies that play slot machines. Because if it weren't for them, probably most people wouldn't even fucking play that shit, and then we wouldn't even have it in this listing. And I really don't know. There's so many things with sex in here. Anyway, I don't know why we need these ROMs for things. I'm not gonna sit here and emulate a casino. I don't know why that shit's even in here, but. So painful, painful. There is a lot of games that I have. Jesus. Okay. Slowly making it there. I probably should just went down to T and moved my way back up, but oh, Splatterhouse. Um, yes, I have every single. If you were seeing that, yes, there is every single Street Fighter and known to man in there. Okay, so I still have some Super Bar X's, but they're not the same ones. These are Brunel Research, and I really don't understand what the fuck these things are like with these parentheses. To me, those are used like wares groups that are hacking these things or whatever. But in this case, I think it's actually a company. I don't know how it works. But anyway, all the other ones gone, right? Because they would have been all Super Bar X's, like 100 of these damn things in a list. And the only ones I missed was those Brunel researches because I didn't realize they were there. So cut my listing dramatically, right? And as you keep going through them, you'll get this list down to a manageable thing. So now that's the overall game list, right? If you do left or right in this front end, here's my classics. Oh, that's interesting. It still says the whole version of Mame up there. Anyway, this is my classics list. You can see the name is on top of the box there, and these are only the games that I put in that list. So you could do it multiple different ways, right? I'm trying to do lists for games, but at the same time, I want to be able to go through that other list and play everything else that I'm not aware of and find stuff. Um, Most played games is a generic thing they put in there. Um, and here's my other one, which is sports, which I just started doing, and it's not fully done yet. Um, so that talks a lot about the front end and how to kind of manage, work with these giant ROM sets. So the next last thing I want to talk about really quick is how do you really work with Mame to get the games to emulate properly or anything like that. So I'm going to work with my classics list, right? I don't want to be working with that other list. So let's find a good. Okay, here's a good one. APB, All Points Bulletin, right? This is a cop game, and when you see that box screen like that, you just push any button or whatever, and then it'll go into a ROM test. Most games will go into a ROM test, and then here's the game itself. Um, this game is really it really has just nothing more than a steering wheel, an acceleration pedal, a siren button, and a fire button, I believe. Right? I played in the arcade all the time, but I don't remember exactly every single button it has off the top of my head. However, you got to chase people down. You got to put the siren on when you chase them or whatever, and then sometimes you got to shoot at them if they're really the degenerate criminals. Anyway, since this uses a steering wheel, you might be like, all right, well, I can't emulate this. I can't play this game because I'm using an Xbox type computer remote, or I'm using a joystick from X Arcade, or whatever the case may be. I'm using a keyboard. If you hit Tab on your keyboard, it'll bring up this MAME uh, options window type thing, and in here you could set general parameters for everything, or you could do just this game, right? And then games that have flight sticks and trackballs and dials and I'm trying to think of what else. Steering wheels. You'll usually see this analog control option pop up. That's for that. Dip switches. Let's go into there. Service mode. If you turn it on and then go reset, sometimes you can find some extra things in there to adjust. Coins. You can move it left and right and see if there's a free play. Sometimes free play is found in service mode. So let's just look at service mode real quick. I turn it on. I hit reset. the game will go into another ROM. Yeah, RAM check, ROM check, whatever. And then I should probably be presented with a menu. Yeah, so here it is. How do I adjust the? See, now this is a little bit of a pain in the ass because I didn't set up the other thing with the steering wheel stuff that I was talking about. But you know, power on, restart, how to changing the scores, the statistics, reporting options, test stuff. So you never know what you might find in this service mode menu section, right? To get out of the service menu section, go back to the dip switches, turn off service mode, and it'll automatically go right back to the game. Sometimes you might have to hit reset, but most of the time, no. More coin stuff, bonus coins, track lights on and off. That's not going to work for you unless you're using like an LED whiz. Maximum amount of continues, you know. No, I was going to say maybe this is the free play. Anyway, you get the gist of this, right? If you hit escape, it'll bring you back one menu. Video options, if you want to skew it or change it or whatever. If you want to turn the game into cocktail mode, maybe you're emulating just asteroids and Q-Bird and stuff like that, and you built a cocktail table, you could put it in cocktail mode, and what it'll do is as you switch players back and forth, it'll flop the screen upside down. Slider options do a lot of sound stuff. I want to go into the input of this game. So this is where you set all your stuff. How do you coin up a game? Most arcade games, for some reason or another, did not have free play. So you will have to set a coin button. I usually put select on my controller as the coins, but you will have to simulate that you're paying for the game. And then you need a start button and etc. etc. P1 represents player 1. If there were multiple players allowed in this game, it would have a P2, P3, P4, etc. In this case, I'm not going to set anything yet because I want you to see the problem. So I'm just going to escape out, and here's the analog controls as well, right? Oh shit, I just exited out completely the game. So I got to restart it really quick. This should only take a second. So I'm going to hit select on my controller. That put in a coin. As you can see, I'm coining up. And I know it's one of these buttons to start it. So here I am, and I'm driving, right? So I'm just testing. Oh, why am I spinning like that? As I hit the left thumbstick, even just lightly press it, the car just spins out of control, right? And it's like almost impossible to drive this obstacle course to get past it. The other thing is I'm not holding any button and yet the car keeps moving, right? So that tells you obviously got a controller issue going on here. So if I go into the input of this game, I'm just going to change the buttons, right? I want this button to be that and this button to be this, and all I'm doing is hitting enter and then hitting the button. If I want to clear the button, you hit delete. It'll put it to none. Alright, so those are my A and B buttons on my controller. Now, anything that says, you know, something analog like this,
don't break out.
I really should have, hopefully this will stop making noise. You cannot use things like the cross pad on the controller because it really is just a bunch of switches. You really need to use something that's analog to set this, but that doesn't mean that you can't use the cross directional pad to play this, right? It just means that for this setting right here, I would have to use a thumbstick in my case because that is an analog thing. But I'm not going to use that, right? So I'm going to just get rid of that.
Don't break out.
And now this one I want decrement and increment. You got to kind of play with, right? You don't know which one is left or which one is right. Most of the time, decrement is to the left and increment is to the right. But so I'm just as you can see, that says hat switch. That's really just a cross pad. And I'm hitting right on this one. And oh, sorry, I'm setting the wrong things here. Sorry. This
I sure
P1,
could use it, don't
I
it?
thought it's a P1, it's pedal 1, right? So this means just the gas pedal. So I just need the incrementing one because okay, so this one, sorry, I have to change buttons here because I'm not really fully paying attention as to what I'm doing. So what I did was I put an incrementing analog button. I just put a button there for the pedal. That's going to allow me to drive. I don't need to put a decrementing one or an analog one because I'm just simulating pressing the gas pedal on the machine by pushing button A on my controller. And then I put button 2 and 3. I think one is the siren and one is the gun, right? So that's what I went back and did. This analog thing, this dial analog, is really the steering wheel, right? And this one I'm changing to the crosshairs on the keypad, on the controller, I keep forgetting the thumb pad one. Right? Sorry, I'm getting really tired right now, so I can't even see straight anymore. And dial analog here would be like you could use the thumbstick to steer, and that's fine too. You could use that. There's nothing wrong with that. I just prefer using, I'm an old school gamer. I grew up on NES, right? So I prefer using the crosspad for this. But you could use the thumbstick if you're used to using the thumbsticks quite a bit. So what do you do now, right? So I didn't really fix the issue. I just reassigned it. Right, so now as you see the car doesn't move unless I hold this button down. I hold the button down, I let go of it, it stops. Now, it also stops kind of abruptly, which I kind of like. Right, but I'm holding.
Return to station.
See, I'm just testing my buttons. That was my gun button, this is my siren button, this is my gas button.
I sure could
And I'm
use
able
it,
to
don't it?
steer back and forth. Very well. However, let's say it wasn't steering very well, you could turn down this dial sensitivity. And if you want to do reverse things or sensitivity to things, you could play with these settings and it'll adjust the analog stuff. This one kind of was like a little bit easier, right? I could still play this. Oh, I hit that guy by accident, but.
Okay.
Help! Help!
I love this game, by the way, guys. I could play this game like all night.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, it gets harder.
Return to station.
Car 54, don't it break out?
You start running out.
Oh.
You want to try not to get too many demerits. Alright, so I made it. So now there's this guy that's a truck or whatever driving the free candy van. You want to try and like just do your job normally, and if you have to try and run into this guy, you will run into him eventually, then you got to take him out. Anyway, I'm playing like shit. So let's look at something else that's annoying. These double dragons and stuff like that stuff's easy, right? I'm trying to look at the analog stuff that people say you can't emulate. However, you kind of can if you just really know what you're setting. I'm trying to think of a good one here. Let's do, where is Super Sprint? Where is that? Okay, Super Sprint. It's like a little racing game back in the day. Me and my father used to play this a lot. So which one am I? So I'm the blue one that doesn't turn. Okay, so now I'm using the thumbstick, and it's okay. It's turning and stuff, but I'm kind of like all over the place. It's definitely not. The only reason why I'm winning right now is because this is the first stage, and really easy to play this stage, but as this game goes on, it's going to get super hard. So what I'm going to end up doing is, let's try and leave it at the thumbstick. I don't want to go crazy with that. And if you remember this game in the arcade, it did have 3 players, which is why this menu option is ginormous. But right now we're just focusing on player 1. So the pedal felt fine for me. It was the sensitivity of the thumbstick. So I'm just going to turn this down to, like, let's say 10. You don't need to restart the game. This stuff takes place immediately. Okay, if I... So I'm not moving the thumbstick as much, but... I tried to hit this shortcut, but... So I'm not hitting the thumbstick as much, but I'm still kind of like all over the place. Oh wow, look at that. I don't know if that was a glitch or what, but I just schooled that entryway. But as you can see, it's definitely getting a lot more fluid, right? It's looking more like I'm playing with a steering wheel. And granted, if you have a steering wheel that works with USB, you can just plug that bitch in and play. You don't have to deal with this. So let's try and turn it down to like 7. Let's see if it starts getting a lot tighter to deal with. As you can see, these turns start getting more and more like aggressive, and they become better. I'm just turning it. But I'm not spinning out of control. I'm playing fairly well. I still need to get this worked out a little bit. Now, let's say I have multiple people in my house that play, and they don't want to, use things the way I'm using them. You can say left, right, on a joystick, and then hit it again really quick, and hit enter, and see how I have 2 set. So either one, either the crosshair thumb controller or the thumbstick will work for steering the wheel now. You can set multiple parameters like that. It's not a big deal. So now I'm going to try and play it with the crosshair type things. So the steering is like really tight now. Now I can't even make a turn. So now it's like too tight. Okay. I swore you could jump that. I don't know why it's giving me a problem. Yeah, so now I have to hold the thumbstick and kind of like slow down a lot. So now it's too tight. So let's put it at 10. I'm starting to wonder if maybe you do have to restart the game, because I swore before we had it at 10 and it wasn't steering as tight. Let's see how it goes after it loads the next stage. I'm probably out of the game anyway, so. Okay, it'll let you pay to play, basically. Yeah, so it's a little bit better. I think you do have to like reload the stage or wait for the stage to load for that to really take place. But yeah, so that's working. So I get distracted. I'm sorry, guys. Smash TV. Or Robotron. Let's do Robotron since it's more of a known thing, even though Smash TV is like the same controller output. Robotron, for everybody that remembers, used two joysticks and no buttons. So what you'll see in the input settings here, well, you'll see fire up, down, left, right, right? I have them set to my right thumbstick, and it's the same thing as anything else. You hit enter, you hit up on the right thumbstick, you hit down on the right thumbstick, left and right, and then your regular movements. You could assign these to buttons if you want. You could assign them to whatever you want, but I'm just saying if you have two thumbsticks, you can simulate in a shitty way, you know, the two joysticks. And here I am playing. Right. It's got just as much responsiveness. I personally still like the joysticks just because they're bigger and they're more to grip. I'm not really good with these thumbsticks. Like I can never play well with these thumbsticks. I can just get around it. But if I were playing this with my tank sticks, which are real arcade sticks, I'd be fucking beating the shit out of this game right now. But I struggle with these thumbsticks. Okay, but anyway, you get the hint, right? So you might be asking, well, what about like shooter games, right? I would suggest figuring out how to do a light gun, because they're really not easy to play. Let's see if I could even get one to work. I'm trying to look for one of my favorites. I kind of want to end this video because it's in an hour already. Where is it? Oh, where'd it go? I passed it. There it is. Why is it a play choice? I didn't know that was a play choice. I thought they had another one. Oh. Yeah, hold on, sorry. This Nintendo stuff from the arcades really drives me nuts. I forgot that there's the versus stuff. I'm not even going to get into this stuff right now, but I'm looking for versus Hogan Alley. I don't want the other one. Where is it? Oh, okay. So as you can see, it will put this cursor thing in the middle of the screen, and you can move it with the thumbstick. You could also, right now, it's not working for the thumb pad thing. So X, obviously, decrement X is left, increment X is right. Y decrement should be up, and Y increment should be down, I believe. So now when I move it, yeah, see, when I move it with this, it'll stay wherever I left it. When I use the analog one, I don't know why, but it moves it back to the center. So it really depends on how you want to play this. You can play it. However, it's not easy. And to be honest with you, I cannot figure out how to get Hogan's Alley to start. Because normally you would just point at the screen and light gun it on this thing and start. And I can't get it to start. So I don't really know how to get Hogan's Alley to work. Trying to think of another one that I might have that does not require a chid. Like, I don't know if I can load Area 51. That probably needs a chid. Oh, it'd be good if I wasn't going through the list like that. Area 51. Let's try the old generic Area 51. Hopefully it doesn't. It needs a chid. Whenever you see it go like that really quick, it's most likely probably complaining that it doesn't have a chid. Yeah, so maybe police trainer. I wasn't a big fan of gun games. My favorite one, of course, was Hogan's Alley. But like I said, I can't even figure out how to get that to run. And I do make light guns for PCs and stuff like that. But it requires you putting all kinds of stuff around the monitor and stuff like that. There's all different types of methods. Um, so really look into them and research them before you just buy them, because a lot of people I've seen complaints about, oh, I bought this gun, it sucks, and I should have did this or I should have done that. I'm gonna try one last one and I'm gonna call it a night. Okay, so here we go. Police Trainer 1.3, 1.3B newer, 1.3B. I don't know. Let's try this one. Okay, so this might be promising. I'm gonna just fix the inputs really quick. Okay, so yeah, see, I guess it always goes back with the analog thumbsticks because they are centered. So I don't know. Maybe it's good to switch back and forth. I don't know. But let's see. So this one's working. I have no sound, but this one is working. Oh wait, I have sound. It's just very low, and this game is like impossible to play. There is, however, a plan to get light guns. I just don't want to buy them for a pinball cabinet. I really need the arcade cabinet or something. This is a fucking nightmare trying to play this. Oh, no, no, it's not any better. So, can you emulate everything? No. Can you do things to fix it? Sure. I mean, you're halfway there. Wow, they give me a lot of bystanders in this one. Come on, I want to pass. Oh, look at that. All four of them. Wow, so I actually passed one quota. So let's figure out why the sound is so low. Alright, because you will find. So what I'm doing is I'm gonna go into dip switches and see. There's got to be a way to turn the volume up, because I do hear it working. It's just very, very low. I think this is just testing stuff. Yeah, this is testing switches. This is not going to help. Oh, wrong button. Uh, so I've encountered this before. Oh, what's this crosshair option thing? I don't know what this P1 crosshair thing is, but maybe you could put extra crosshairs in there. Visible delay, I don't really know what that means. Maybe that's the delay of it moving. Anyway, let's try and figure out the sound problem. I might have to get back to you guys on the sound problem because I remember I stumbled upon this with another game, and it took me a while to figure out how to really get the sound to come back up. I'm kind of just pushing all kinds of buttons to see if I can get it. It looks like I put an extra player in there. Yep, I don't know. Yeah, there is a way to increase the volume though. There's gotta be. Look at that. I pushed F2 and I'm trying to see how do you get the settings? Oh, you push the button. Now how do you activate it? Oh. Okay. No, it's not one. Oh, it was pause. By the way, guys, you can pause arcade games. You just push P on your keypad. So it was number 2. So I did find another setting thing here. And here it is, volume up. I hit F2. I was just randomly pushing buttons. I hit F2 and I stumbled upon this and I started messing with how do I step through the menu. Alright, so 100 is the maximum difficulty, whatever. Stereo. Oh, there you go. There's free play. And here's how you calibrate the guns if you were using light guns or whatever. How to restore back to factory default. I don't know how to get out of that mode. I just ended up hitting escape. Oh, it looks like I'm in service mode. It looks like I found some extra way of going at. What the fuck am I doing? Yeah, all I did was find another way of going into service mode.
Metro Police Academy Trainer version 1.1.
So the volume is a little bit better. It's definitely no, it's still low. I don't know what I'm talking about. This is something I might have to mess around with a little bit more. I also put my headphones super low, so it actually might be at the right settings, and I might just be that was a really weird way of getting into service mode. Anyway, it might just be that I have my headphones low, so it's coming out like no matter what I do, it's low. Probably tomorrow I'll turn on this game and try and mess with it again, and I'll probably get shot back by 5 feet because it's blasted loud. Anyway, that's everything I got for Mame right now, except for chids. But chids are pretty easy. If you load a game and you've loaded a ROM set like that and it still doesn't work, you're probably missing a chid, and it'll give you a message saying that you're missing a chid or some other critical file, and then you can go to EMU Paradise and download the chid for that game. And pretty much you just install the chid. I don't even think you have to rename it or anything. I'm not even sure. It's been a long time since I've installed one. Let's take a look really quick. Since this is supposed to be a quick tutorial, but it's just run over so far and long now that it doesn't even matter anymore. Okay, obviously I have my chids separated in. There's my chids. So I think you just rename the chid to match the ROM. I'm looking at this Gauntlet Dark Legacy one. Yeah, so there's the game Gauntlet Dark Legacy. This is the ROM, and I went to EMU Paradise and downloaded the chid, and I just renamed the chid to look exactly like the ROM. SF3000 is part of Street Fighter 3. Yeah, so maybe not, because SF3000 I can't find anything for that. Yeah, to be honest with you, I don't remember how I did the chids. I really don't remember doing anything other than just dumping them in there and it figures it out on its own, to be honest with you. And that might be a reason why I can't remember how I did it. Because it might have been just that simplistic that I just didn't even rename anything. I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think I renamed the damn thing. I think I just dumped it in there and it worked. But I can safely guarantee you that... Let me see, which one is the one that usually never works? SF123. Yeah, Third Strike. This guy. Okay, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, Third Strike. This is one of those ones that everybody's always complaining they can't get it to work. It's a CP3 system, Capcom 3 system. Trying to get it to. This is that one that everybody complains that it doesn't work. On forum boards and everything, it's always because they missed the chid or they didn't do the chid right. But definitely works, right? So I know, and here's another one that everybody complains that they can't get it to work, and it's because of its chid and hardware requirements. Now, granted, this doesn't work super well on mine either, but it does work.
Enter initials to build a character. Select a character. Welcome, Yellow Sorceress.
So I get a little bit of stutter here and there, but for the most part it works, and kind of clear.
Kingdom. You are now entering the Valley of Fire.
Game runs a tad bit slow, and the sound stutters here and there, but
Find the exit.
like I said, for the most part, yeah. See, this plays a lot faster in the arcade.
Use key to open treasure chests. Destroy generators to stop enemies. Fire amulet.
Yeah, so if my computer had probably a little bit of more horsepower, this might run better. I don't know if this this slight slowdown and slight stutter is me hitting a wall with my system, or if it's a wall with the emulation of this game, because I know for the longest time you couldn't even emulate this game. But with 161, I can emulate it. I'm wondering if I did the incremental ROM updates to get to the higher version, if maybe this game runs better. But there's no guarantee, because sometimes when they make the newer versions, sometimes they break things that was working, which is why some people run multiple versions of
Some barrels contain
Mame.
an item.
And it's because, oh, well, this game worked fine in the last one, now this game doesn't work anymore. So you gotta be careful of that too. But anyway, this just to prove that I don't think you really need to do too much with the chids to get them to work. And I'm gonna call that a night. So it's been real. I'm tired. I'll see you guys later.